Sprite, Sir Lancelot's using the CDI link, and Calvin is using the Vanilla Sprite, and we are underway! Starting off with a Piece of Heart in Link's house.
And as we see, it's a nice rainy day here in Hyrule, so might want to try to take some shelter here. And of course, the castle, not a bad place to go.
We got ourselves a little map check. We saw there is a pendant on Tower of Hera, as well as crystals on Eastern Palace and Desert Palace. Running the Fire Rod to start off. The Fire Rod is kind of in my opinion, kind of a weak weapon. Although, yeah, the firepower is really nice, but it uses up a lot of magic. So they have to be very conservative as they go through this escape sequence.
Yeah, at least you get a full magic bar to work with, but I believe that gives you... Now, I could be wrong, but I believe it's 16 shots. It might be 12.
I haven't really counted myself. Confirmation from our chat. It looks like it is 8 shots. Yeah, that magic on that fire rod is it drains really fast, and so they gotta be extremely conservative. They cannot miss a.
Yeah, as you're going to see, a lot of the runners just try to bypass as many enemies as possible and only kill the absolute bare minimum enemies. And it looks like we have bombs along the way, so that'll open up our 3 chests along the way.
Very nice to grab the bombs very early. They don't have to worry about farming.
And here comes one of the enemies that you're going to have to absolutely deal with. And it looks like a full magic refill showing up on Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's side.
Very nice to pick up.
And it looks like Calvin as well getting the full magic refill. So into Zelda's cell. Now the good thing about the fire rod is one shot takes care of this guy. Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna almost might be wasting a little bit of time, not just using a fire rod shot and opting to run and get a couple of the pots.
Zelda's chest, bringing up the Dark Cross key from the Dark Cross chest, which will be seen in about a couple minutes from now. So far, Calvin having a pretty early lead, although this is for the escape sequence alone. It's not like it's important or anything. When they get out of the sanctuary, it's all fair. It's all out for themselves.
Well, hopefully we'll get ourselves a lumberjack check. Believe the last seed I did commentary on, the lumberjack chest, the lumberjack location had a little bit of a surprise for our runners.
So here's something I want to point out. Zelda there is a light cone, but they don't have the lamp. That's because Zelda is hard-coded to give you the lamp right out of the gate, just so that you can get through this one sequence. And it's the back dark room of the escape sequence.
Yeah, this is the only area in the game where, even without Link having the lamp, you will be able to see as if you had it, as the aforementioned hard coding on Zelda, making it possible. Once you finish this sequence, if you do not have the lamp, you will not be able to see in dark rooms unless you light them up with perhaps a fire rod.
Or if you know the dark rooms by heart, then you don't really need the lamp at all. And there's a hook shot and a moon pearl in the back of Escape.
Ooh, hello. Yeah, that definitely makes those bombs a worthwhile drop here in the Escape sequence. Moon pearl and hookshot definitely going to be needed to progress through the game.
Very much so. And Sir Linkla, being the first of our runners to make it into the Sanctuary, drops Zelda off. Calvin following short after, along with Mr. Scruff.
And surprisingly, Edium, the last of our restreamed runners to make it through the Escape sequence.
Sir Linkla entering the Lost Woods. And, Mr. Scruff looks like he's heading for the Houlihan room.
Yeah, that definitely looks like he might be trying to set up a Houlihan after making this little screen transfer. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the ways to get into the Houlihan room.
Yeah, there's a total of 225 rupees in this one room alone, and something I found out, looking at the tile of the hint tile, gives you the winners of the official races. That's something I found out when I was doing the Houlihan trick.
The Houlihan room is, I believe, named after a contest winner that got their name put into the game as part of winning the contest, but in such a difficult-to-access room, sounds like a sucker prize of some sort.
Well, for context, I think it was a hammer I saw over in the dam. But for context, the Houlihan room was named after Chris Houlihan, after a Nintendo Power Contest winner for seeing a war mech in Final Fantasy I, which there is a tournament going on, but that's besides for the randomizer at least. Oh,
we have boots in the back of Blind's hut. Just it looks like a couple of hearts so far. Nothing doing in the front side. 2 pieces of heart and a couple of rupees there.
This is going to make the race go pretty quickly, but, well, make the game go pretty fast. And there's 10 bombs in the bombable well inside the well. There's the flippers.
Well, it looks like Mr. Scruff found the ice rod in Mini Moldorm Cave.
This is a really good room now. This has been a really good room for finding all sorts of important progression items the past couple of seeds. And the Power Glove over on Edium over in the Bonk Rocks.
Now that would definitely count as progression.
Or like picking up a bottle inside the chicken hut and be turning that in for Sick Kid.
Yeah, who lives right next door.
And a heart piece. Or a heart container, rather.
Yeah, whole heart there. I think just about the only thing we're looking for, perhaps, is a pointy object to do some work with, and might consider going into some of the dungeons, but we have a mushroom in the lumberjack cave. I don't know if that's going to force an Ognum just on that alone. But,
I don't believe they'll probably go for Aghanim solely just for the mushroom, unless it holds some sort of progression later on. But that's just, again, a fetch quest item, so it's just a gamble either way. Aghanim in the Death Mountain Dark Room, using the hookshot as a way of identifying where he is.
now, is he trying to deliver the old man?
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's going for the old man, and Mr. Scruff's pulling off a fake flipper to go for Hobo, and hopefully, I mean, although he does not have Zora money, he will be able to check the waterfall ferry with that moon pearl. Yeah, that was a hammer over on the dam.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's Dark World access. Well, a logical Dark World access, and Edian takes a death.
Now, that didn't look like it was accidental. It looked like he had delivered the old man and just said, alright, oops. But it looks like
Interesting little strategy.
Headed down to the swamp? No. Nope. Making a play for the mini Moldorm cave, then hopefully headed over to the dam for Edium.
300 rupees over on Lake Hylia Island.
Just like you say, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna headed into the waterfall. So, with the Moon Pearl, he's able to reset his sprite so he can walk around.
Although he does get a full heart piece, so he's got to reset himself again.
Yeah, one of the unfortunate occurrences that can happen inside the waterfall cave. An interesting interaction, to say the least.
And that's not going to stop Mr. Scruff from grabbing 50 rupees, though.
Now, bomb's on the ledge, so I think he's out of here because he does not have the money to take part in the Zora investment program.
No, he does not, and he's going to be taking the whirlpool back over to Lake Hylia while waterwalking, mind you.
Yeah, flippers, who needs them?
I mean, he can stop over in the well and grab them.
Yeah, well, he'll get there eventually.
Yeah, no big deal. And Mr. Scruff making a routing choice over to Shrashla and the Eastern Palace area.
Now, without the bow for the time being, I can't see him going into Eastern Palace, but we'll see. Looks like Edium is following in the footsteps of Mr. Scruff and gonna visit the hobo. Looks like Calvin's just using the flippers, as is Sir Link-a-Lot.
And we found out from Shrashla himself that the green pendant is on Ice Palace. And yes, Scruff is heading towards the Eastern Palace area. Or towards the Eastern Palace dungeon, to be precise.
Now, without the bow, he cannot finish Eastern Palace at this time. I'm not sure I agree with this play, but I can't think of anything else that's readily available aside from, you know, odd routing choices like a race game. Well, we know Bonk Rocks is going to award the runners with the glove, as we saw on Edium's side of things.
Although, to be fair, going over to the Eastern Palace area, even with the bow not in their hands at the moment is a typical start for most runners. That's just my perspective, though.
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. But, you know, you can only, play the hand you're dealt, and for everyone aside from Edium, they did not do Bonk Rocks, while Sir Link-A-Lot just did. He has, potentially, a Dark World play to head into Village of Outcasts, Skullwoods, potentially, Thieves Town, and
the heart container over on the top of Spectacle Rock, and Calvin showing that the Waterfall Fairy prize for throwing the bottle in is a green potion.
Well, it's better than nothing, I guess.
And 20 rupees inside Spectacle Rock. A unique item requires the boots. That could have been the gloves. I want to be honest.
Yeah, it very well could be, but a lot of that's like saying the sky is blue. That hint. It's just like, okay, you're not really telling me much.
Yeah, it's a pretty unfortunate hint, but whatever. As Edium is heading towards the eastern Death Mountain, going to check Paradox Cave. There are a total of 7 chests that he can open up. He's gonna be a little bit cautious here.
And he's got to watch himself, Edium does, because he's on one heart right now, and you're not really meant to be in this area without a little more than what Edium presently has.
Mr. Scruff picking up the red boomerang over on the vanilla big key chest. So far, Sir Link-A-Lot's the only one who has Dark World access among the restreamed runners. And that's the case of Mario over on Paradox Cave. And another bottle.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna make me hope once we see the Dark World, if Turtle Rock is a crystal, that's pretty close to almost finishable, but the minor detail of at least a pointy object still eluding our runners. The race game doesn't seem to be anything of too much importance, as Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is opting not to bother with it.
20 rupees on the library, and Edium doing a bomb jump across the Paradox Cave hole, and gets dead rocked over on the, I think he was just trying to check the floating islands. I didn't see what that was. As Edium gets into Spiral Cave, Sir Link-A-Lot picking up his Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, Sir Link-A-Lot's slightly ahead with the hammer over Edium at this point. I think the early advantage so far I would give to Sir Link-A-Lot with having found the hammer and, as you mentioned before, Dark World access.
Yeah, as I said before, he is one of the first restream runners to have Dark World access, and it's only 5 rupees over on the floating island. It's like Sir Link-A-Lot is trying to look at his map, seeing that it's only a pendant.
Now, since you're here, I would presume you kind of... Oh, Edium overshot the drop, and he's overshot a second time.
That that should not be happening. My brain cannot compute that.
Missed that drop twice, and going too far. I don't know how it happened, but it happened.
Well, Idiom's gonna pick up his flippers. Mr. Scrubhunt also picked up his flippers.
Yeah, both runners are in the well. Sir Linkalot is exploring Tower of Hera. Calvin looks to be headed down toward the dam.
And towards Agina's cave, looks like. And turns out that the Dongo does not like smoke.
Well,
that's half magic over on the desert ledge.
Well, that's definitely going to be routed in by our runners, I would think.
It's a nice support, although I'm not. I'm pretty sure they will pick it up. Although, again, it's utility, but it's again really nice to have. I probably believe they would probably just go for that. And 3 bombs over on Nagina's cave as Sir Linkalot is on the Moldorm fight. A little bit of trouble, but he's going to be applying those hammer strikes. That does count as a tempered sword. And Lincoln, you missed it. There goes Moldorm.
Now I believe it's only a the red pendant, so not the first crystal obtained, but our first dungeon completed.
I was thinking that maybe Sir Lincoln was thinking that there was probably some sort of progression that is inside the Tower of Hera, as he's heading back for the coffee break room and that firelock chest. Mr. Scruff picking up his his power glove. That's gonna give him Dark World access.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the runners that have the Dark World available to them, well, more so Sir Linkalot than anybody else, has not gone into the Dark World yet. I think, just with the item density and having the Village of Outcasts, Thieves Town, and Skull Woods right there, it just feels like that's the right play to make for me.
I was expecting Scruff to go over towards the... Oh, he's going over to Zora, because he has the Zora money, and Idiom is the last of the runners to get Dark World access, as he has picked up his hammer. Idiom heading towards Agina's cave. Gonna be grabbing those 3 bombs. And Sir Linkalot is out of there. Out of the Tower of Hera. And that's a flute over on Zora.
Yeah, our Zora investment program paying off tonight. The flute is definitely something I would qualify as a quality of life item, but still, I'd definitely rather have it than not.
And we haven't seen what, it looks like there was a map check. It looks like Meyer, well, I mean, at the moment, it looks like that on the restream at least, or based on the trackers, that Meyer is a pendant. Only 20 rupees on the chess game. And Mr. Scruff is activating that float. They just picked up from Zora.
Calvin debating me a little bit. Looked like just opening up Thieves Town. Thought he was going to go in there, but Looks like the Mallard's been empowered on Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's side.
And Calvin picking up the first sword over on the tavern, and Sir Lancelot crossing into the dark. And yeah, there is a 5/6 crystal on both medallion dungeons.
Yeah, Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are 5/6 dungeons. That's a little rough, but that makes the medallions that much more important to find for our runners going forward. Looks like Edium is heading toward Skull Woods.
Not much of importance that in the Hive Cave, and only just a single arrow. It does count as a unique item, so that is eliminated from the unique item pool.
So what negative number do we assign to Hype
Oh,
Cave
wait a minute.
for?
That's the bow over in Skull Woods for Edia.
Yeah, that whole, go over into Skull Woods sort of play, yeah, looks like that's paid off. Edium might just be, on his way out of Skull Woods at this point.
Although to be fair, Skull Woods is a pendant, or not a pendant, a crystal. He can clear it with the fire rod.
That Mothula fight's gonna be a little rough, though.
And that's a mirror over on Edium too. This is a huge Skull Woods.
Skull Woods delivering the goods. 2 items in there, but they're 2 big ones, the bow and the mirror.
This is stuff over on the pyramid ledge, only a piece of heart. And he's gonna also route in the catfish as well.
This is one of those sort of out of the way plays, but sometimes it pays off, sometimes you just go, yeah, I really shouldn't have bothered with the catfish. But
and Calvin finding out that the piece of heart was fire locked in the Tower of Hair. Edium's gonna grab his very, very not so hype cave with the single arrow.
well, it looks like Calvin is on his way through Thieves Town. It looks like he's got a little bit of a ways to go, but this might be our first crystal. Sir Lancelot on their way into Thieves Town as well at this point. Edium
Catfish bringing up 300 rupees for Mr. Scuff. And, ooh, this is interesting. Edium is headed for Swamp Palace.
That's a bit bold.
It's a bold move. I don't see anything wrong with this play. Although this is a pendant, so that
no hammer, no sword.
I believe he picked up the hammer before. Yeah, he does have the hammer.
He does have the hammer. Okay. So if he does make his way all the way to the boss, it's going to be a menu simulator battle.
That is if he decides to fight. If he decides to fight it, and there is an item on Argus.
So it's going to be a little rough, but I mean, I see the logic in the play. It's just, I think Skull Woods would have been a better investment, if not just going back into the Light World and heading over to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, with the bow in hand, that he is able to clear Eastern Palace. Just straight up full clearance without doing it for a double dip, and Calvin is on the blind fight.
I mean, with having the mirror, maybe the Palace of Darkness into Eastern Palace double feature, I think just Edium might not be, making the best use of his resources right now.
Calvin I'd also taken out Line and is one of the fierce feature. Oh, that's the Titans mitts for Edium. That's big play for Edium.
Definitely a win for Edium there, but if Argus has an item, this is just going to be a terrible fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, while Calvin is doing the digging game, Calvin is one of the first restream runners to get a crystal in this. As Mr. Scruff is making the Graveyard Ledge play. And it's a heart container on the digging game. He's opting to just farm for rupees and then pick it up later. And yeah, he's gonna go grab it. And that's a second sword for on the Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, it looks like Sir Linkalot's found a blue safety vest.
Protection is always nice to have.
And, unfortunately, those gonna do the digging game, 25 digs for a full heart. Ouch.
50 rupees on Stumpy as Mr. Scruff is in King's Tomb. Only 10 arrows. And Edium, yeah, he's going to fight Argus. There looks like that was an item, as you mentioned.
Yeah, this is just going to be a painful fight, because he's going to have to use a hook shot, menu back to the hammer, menu to the hook shot, menu to the hammer, and with the way his menu is situated, there's no easy way to go back and forth between the two. So this is just, ugh.
Yeah, and keep in mind, he does not have a sword, does not have any of the two swords that we found so far. And does not have the one in the tavern, does not have the one in Graveyard Ledge. He's gonna have to use the menu in order for him to win, and then use some other form of attack to take out Argus entirely. So like entering Skullwoods, he's gonna grab his bow and the mirror.
Now, Sir Linkalot, it would not surprise me if he just goes all the way through Skull Woods at this point. I think Edium's gonna switch over to the Fire Rod and try to blast away. Ooh, got 2 hits in.
Nice double, and wow, nice fight for Edium. And that was the kind of burn it looks like.
Trying to channel his inner NBA star with a nice double-double there. And there we go, Thievestown giving the lantern to Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
Yeah, Calvin had picked it up, and Sir Lincoln had picked it up on their way through Thievestown.
Oh, now Edium's going back in. Is this,
I believe there's some items that he has skipped out on his way through.
This just feels like not the greatest play on Idiom's side, but, you know, again, I was critical of this play, and it did reward the Titans mitts. But, I just feel this could have been routed in later to the run.
Yeah, although it is a smart, it was, I think he was, I do feel like it was a nice play over on Idiom, but then again, it's still early to say that that will help him in the long term as Sir Lancelot is on the Mothula fight.
And now, I will have to qualify what I say by, you know, having less imperfect information than what Idiom has available, because I, along with you, have the advantage of watching 4 different runners. So, you know, I have the information that 4 runners have, instead of Idiom acting only on the information that he alone has.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me, as Sir Lancelot takes on Mothula and grabs his second crystal of the race for him.
Then again, you know, Idiom could, you know, prove me wrong by, you know, whatever he ends up finding with this little detour. If it's another major item, then, you know, I stand corrected, and, you know...
That's silver arrows, that's
yeah,
one thing.
that's definitely worthwhile. Silver arrows is definitely good to have, because that'll make a lot of these fights a lot quicker.
Yeah, so... you are partially corrected. I'll say that.
Well, it's gonna make the Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace play a lot more palatable. Well, the Armos Knights are gonna go instantly at this point.
Yeah, and this is the one benefit for grabbing the silver arrows out of Swamp Palace, as well as for the Titan's Mitts, which is progression in its own right. As Idiom going towards K45. 3 bombs there. Sir Lancelot picking up the bow. Scruff on the blind fight. He also grabs his mirror out of the Skull Woods area, and
yeah, immediately using it. Surprising that not going to try to finish, or actually no, he already did finish Skull Woods.
Yeah, he had finished Skull Woods. He went for Mothula first, and then went back in to grab all the items from those chests, which is a smart move. It's generally what you want to do. If you have the items to clear Mothula, you go ahead and do that, and then clear out the rest of the chests that you didn't have. It's kind of a typical strategy if you can decide you want to just go mode the dungeon and then just come back later.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm definitely liking Sir Lancelot's routing a little bit more than Idiom, but I don't want to sleep on any of our runners, because you happen upon that one item, and next thing you know, it puts any one particular runner ahead. Idiom going through the blacksmith line right now.
Yeah, and Sir Lancelot and Mr. Scruff had picked up their master swords from their opposite binding spot from each other. Mr. Scruff picking them out of the tavern, and Sir Lancelot picking them out of the graveyard ledge.
So Idiom doing the hammer cave, and looked like 50 rupees.
It was 50 rupees, so now he's gonna turn in those blacksmiths back to their respective home. Let's see if this pays off for Edium. With a Book of Medora, all Edium can do with that Book of Medora is check the pad and do the tablets. He can enter Desert Palace with just the Moon Pearl, the Mirror, and the Titan's Mace.
Yeah, that book could lead him to other items, but like you mentioned, Desert Palace is already accessible. If there's something on the Ether or Bombos tablets, that could make things very different. Sir Lancelot, using the catfish and the 300 rupees to now pick up the flute going over to Zora.
Yeah, Mr. Scrub has a good advantage with just that duck. Although Sir Lancelot will be grabbing that pretty soon, as Edium is turning in the purple chest and giving only a piece of heart. Calvin on the Mafia fight. And it looks like Mr. Scrub is also heading towards the Swamp Palace area as Edium is checking the Bombos tablet. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, he doesn't have a sword. Oof.
Oh, it looks like he's going to go the long way into Desert Palace for Edium.
And it looks like Calvin took a death.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunate. Calvin getting taken down by Mothula.
Sir Lancelot has activated the flute and is waiting for the duck to break out. There it is. And there's a shield on the chest, or on the torch, as Edium confirming that a piece of heart was on the chest, requiring a specialist to unlock.
Oh, and Calvin taking another death, and it looks like he's on his way out of Skull Woods at this point.
Yeah, he did not pick up the blue mail from these towns. Oh, he's having a little bit of trouble with those mummies. Looks like he did not have any. Yeah, he does not have any magic to fight it. He's resetting the room.
Well, the good thing is he does have a sword. Edium picking up the half magic on the desert ledge.
Now, the only problem with his current sword at the moment, being the fighter sword, is that these mummies take quite a while to go down. But he does take him down. He's only had like one heart though. Mr. Scruff picking up those time smiths. Gibdos, that's what they were called. Now, Edium opening up the Desert Palace area as Calvin takes another death.
Oh, Calvin's still searching for the items inside of Skull Woods. Okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense. And yeah, Edium is on the Lamola Spice, and I say that, and they're gone. So Edium has picked up his first crystal of his seed. And this is all about a sword, mind you. It's pretty impressive that he has not gone for any of the swords at this, like, almost 45 minutes into the race. And looks like Sir Lancelot is heading for the Palace of Darkness blade. Now, this play I do like, honestly. Because he can route in Eastern Palace as well. Even though he does not have the silver arrows from from Swamp Palace, this will be pretty nice, as Sir Lancelot was also routing in Sharash. Just grabbing his items, and although of course he does not have the green pendant, that's an Ice Palace, which we have not seen yet. But he's gonna just grab the stuff out of the shed and warp back out.
Calvin's starting to find his items in Skull Woods. He's just picked up the bow. And I think, oh, nope, had the bombs equipped, but choosing not to bomb jump across, but I don't think he will, given that he's found the second Skull Wood item.
Yeah, I think the big chest does not have anything of value for Calvin. Or at least in Skull Woods. I think they opened up the chest. I might be mistaken though.
Well, Skull Woods only has 2 items in it, and we know those to be the bow and the mirror.
Okay, that makes sense now. So Sir Lancelot looks like he was bow locked. And Eddie, I'm finding out that the Ether Teller makes things go triple boom, meaning that's just 3 bombs.
Now see, Scruff will have a much better time with this fight. He won't have to menu off of the hook shot like Edium had to do previously.
Yeah, because due to the fact that he does have that Master Sword in his hands right now, all he really needs to do is slash at the little puffballs that Argus has around him, and he's good to go. And Edium's inside Tower of Hera takes a fall down to the the very first floor of the dungeon, and he's out of there. Here and out. Ooh, Edium gets dead rocked. Calvin heading towards that pyramid ledge.
Well, that's, it looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna finishing off Argus, but not choosing to continue spelunking, that might cost him Titan's Mitts.
I believe he had picked up Titan's Mitts. Yeah, I think he just picked up he picked him up earlier on his route, so he just used them for the portal.
Ah, so Scruff full cleared and didn't need to go back in. Okay.
And there's a red potion for inside the Mire shed. Looks like Bombos is required for Misery Mire, or that's Quake. That's my bad. That's Quake, not Bombos.
Yeah, definitely Quake, but no matter what, right now, none of our runners have any of the medallions accounted for yet, so Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are going to elude our runners for the time being.
Yeah, 20 rupees over on the Checkerboard Cave, and Hookshot Cave also equally not bringing up anything of value, as Edium is inside Super Bunny Cave. And there's Ether, although to be fair, this is not really a big item for Sir Lancelot, because Still not Quake or Bomb.
Now, what did we need for Turtle Rock? We've not seen that.
I think it's at Bombos. I might be wrong though. Like was one point I saw one point in chat. Yeah, it's Bombos for Turtle Rock.
Okay, so Turtle Rock is Bombos, Misery Mire is Quake, and unfortunately we find the Ether Medallion. Ugh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. As a Spike Cave, gonna be using that Cane of Burna to like around halfway through to guarantee him grabbing that chest at around 2 hearts. Looks like Mr. Scruff did pick up that half match. And Spike Cave only bringing up a piece of heart.
Yeah, Idiom, it sounded like, got another full heart and was in the process of refilling his hearts when he saved and quit. Looks like this might be an Ice Palace run here for Idiom.
Yeah, he's going towards Ice Palace. Now, all I can see him is if he goes for Ice Palace, I mean, he's going into here. My bet is that he might be gambling on Shirashla too.
Well, it would make sense with the routing. You get Sahasrahla, Eastern, and Pod out of the way all in one go after finishing up this Ice Palace.
It looks like there is a unique item on the... it looks like the Pyramid Fairy? Seems like we need to be grabbing those 5-6 crystals, maybe grabbing something out of that chest. That hit is anything to go by that Idiom had looked at the start of the dungeon.
And it looks like Mr. Scruff might be our first runner headed into the Palace of Darkness area.
No, Sir Linkola already went to the Palace of Darkness. He cleared out Helmus Arcane and has already routed in Eastern Palace. He's going to full clear that.
Oh wow, all the things that happen when I'm not looking because I'm trying to focus on 2 of the runners and not all 4 of them.
Idiom gained the hint that something sharp is above the pose, being the graveyard ledge with the sword. Curious that he's going through all these dungeons without a sword of any value. Now he finds a sword hinge here in Ice Palace.
Well, swordless is a potential method of approaching a run, although it is not the preferred method for this seed.
Calvin taking a death in the Palace of Darkness to those hammer turtle things. And Mr. Scoff confirming that there is a compass inside the big chest of Swamp Palace that he had picked up on his way through. And Idiom is heading out. Oh wait, did Sir Linkola pick up a tempered sword somewhere?
Sir Linkolot has found a tempered sword.
I wonder what that was. There was a tempered sword in Pod. Huh. Surprised I missed that.
It could have been inside of Eastern Palace.
No,
We'll see
it
as,
was in the Palace of Darkness. Calvin picked it up in the dark room downstairs.
Ah, okay. See if Scruff ends up finding it, or if that was his Master Sword. I believe Scruff had the Master Sword coming in.
Eddie, I'm going towards the magic bats. There was a bit of talk about it somewhere before, but not gonna really mention it here. Is magic bat is going to give him 3 bombs.
Oh boy.
The Sir Lancelot heading towards the Armos Knights.
Yeah, Sir Lancelot, without the benefit of silver arrows, will take a little bit longer, but not much.
Oh, that's Quake!
But, yeah, Quake, that'll open up Misery Mire now for Sir Lancelot.
Yeah, his run has been on point throughout this race, and he's really glad to be seeing that Quake being dropped by the Armos Knight. And yep, he's floating over to Misery Mire right now.
Yeah, Mr. Scruff found his Tempered Sword, so that would
wait a minute, he actually...
Palace Darkness.
Oh, he's on for, yeah, he's gonna grab Hive Cave while he's there. Oh, wait. Okay, that makes... Oh, actually, I spoke ahead of myself. Sir Lancelot does not have his Titan's Bits yet. But actually, I believe an alternate route towards Mystery Mire? Or no, he's actually towards Swamp Palace, okay. Yeah, so he will be grabbing his Titan's Bits soon.
Yeah, it looks like Sir Lancelot will pick up the Titan's Mitts inside of Swamp Palace.
Yeah, sorry, I spoke ahead of myself.
Oh, that's alright. But Sir Lancelot has Eastern Palace done, so that only leaves Desert Palace, Swamp Palace, Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock for him to go into, and he can't get into Turtle Rock or Misery Mire currently.
Yeah, but he will be grabbing those Titan's, so he will be able to grab to so he will be getting Swamp Palace done in the Misery Mire done, like inside Misery Mire, in about a few minutes as Calvin is on the Helmsar King fight. Eddie him inside Thieves Town.
Well, there we go. Calvin picks up Palace of Darkness, finishing off the Helmsar King. And it looks like Sir Lancelot making their way through Swamp Palace.
Calvin mirroring over to the Eastern Palace area.
Yeah, so Calvin heading through the double header of Palace of Darkness into Eastern Palace. Looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is about to have a date with the Helmsar King, so that should be Palace of Darkness pretty soon for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
And Sir Lancelot grabbing those Titan's Mitts. not going to grab the Cane of Burna off of Argus, as well as those silver arrows.
Yeah, that might hurt a little bit because don't you need that cane to? No, I guess it's the cane of Samaria need for the platforms in Turtle Rock.
And then again, I mean, it might just. I don't know if it'll come down to just the Ganon fight. If two runners are inside Ganon's tower, and also fighting the Ganon fight, but because Edium and Mr. Scruff picked up those
the silver arrows,
silver arrows before, and it looks like there was another mail upgrade somewhere, as Edium has now picked up red mail.
I think the difference between the silver arrows is going to be pretty big, given how close the runners are in this particular seed. I think it's probably about a 45-second difference in that final Ganon phase, depending on, of course, being able to land a double, if not any better, silver arrow attack on Ganon.
Calvin was attempting to do the Yarmos quick kill and doesn't quite get it, but this won't matter for him because he has taken out the Yarmos Knights, has picked up Quake. Adium takes out Blind, both receiving crystals in their honor, and Mr. Scruff also heading towards the Yarmos Knights. Only with the one exception that he does have silver arrows, so this will be a very quick fight for Mr. Scruff.
Yeah, so one silver arrow will destroy an Yarmos Knight, so that'll be that. Firing
the
one
only
into
downside
the wall.
to having the silver arrows is the lag.
I'll take that little bit of lag to be able to fire 6 arrows instead of 18.
It looks like there was 10 arrows on Bumper Cape as Sir Lancelot is opening up the cutscene chest. It looks like Calvin is buying a red potion at Rico's shop. And Edium. Oh, okay. Looks like we found the fourth sword upgrade in Turtle Rock, as Edium now picks up his Master Sword.
And now we're going to see our runners move around a little bit. Mr. Scruff might be headed up to Turtle Rock at this point. With what he has left to do, I think I much would have preferred him in Skull Woods, finishing that one off before trying to do a Turtle Rock play.
Although to be fair, I should really point out that as far as I'm aware, all we really need is Bombos, and we are in go mode. The King of Samaria and both Ice Rods, Times Mitts, that kind of thing. Only he pretty much needs to look for that Bombos. That's go mode for Sir Lancelot.
Yeah, chat bringing up a good point that Mr. Scruff doesn't know what we know, so he's got a 50-50 shot. Well, a little better than 50-50 actually, of having the medallion to be able to get into Turtle Rock Although we know he's going to hit a little bit of a whammy here.
Yeah, as he's about to see in about a few minutes or so, or probably about a few seconds, with Ether and Quake in his hand, that won't be enough to get him into Turtle Rock. Even though it is possible to get the same medallion for both medallion dungeons, that's not the answer. Speaking of dungeons, Sir Lancelot is on the Vitreous fight.
And Mr. Scruff going into Tower of Hera. Pretty sure
Very
this isn't
curious
going
play,
to
since
do
we know
anything
that
for him.
very curious play, since we know that Tower of Hera does not have anything about.
Well, again, Mr. Scruff, I don't believe got that memo. Just like he's about to get the memo that Turtle Rock is the one medallion he does not presently have.
And Edium has now activated his flute. Sir Lancelot is on a half a health on the big eye of Vitreous, but he's pinning him in the corner, so he should be fine. And yeah, there goes Vitreous.
And unfortunately, Mr. Scruff getting the bad news that is a Bombos medallion that he needs.
Yeah, I would assume that he might have thought he was in go mode, assuming that that was where we had two medallions. Although honestly, it always is nice to have 3 medallions, since you don't have to worry specifically of what medallion it is, so as long as there is at least 2 or 1 or 2 on any dungeon, on the medallion dungeons.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate luck for Mr. Scruff, because he would have been in go mode if he could have gotten into Turtle Rock. At this point, unfortunately, it's the quest to figure out where the heck is our Bombos medallion for probably all of our runners, but
call me crazy, but I want to bet it's on the Witch. Meaning that Aga's required. A really crazy decision. A really wild guess.
Oh, there's absolutely one place I'd love it to be, but, you know.
That being?
It might rhyme with pedestal.
Oh, if it's on the pedestal, then that's gonna be quite troublesome. And keep in mind, Sir Lancelot, although he practically at the moment he's pretty much kind of ahead of most runners, he does not have the book. So if he decides to, go for a blind pedestal check by just clearing Swamp Palace and Ice Palace, that could be quite a problem, because Edium is the only one who has the Book of Medora on hand.
Well, here's the problem for Sir Lancelot. You're running out of locations. I guess he can get into Desert Palace, as he's taking on Lanmolis right now. But where's he gonna go next? He can't get into Turtle Rock, as we know. Swamp Palace is gonna give him a pendant. Aside from Sahasrahla possibly having Bombos, you're looking at a pendant dungeon no matter what at this point to try to find some level of progression.
If anything, the one thing I can assume that it could possibly be is Ice Palace too, on a more reasonable guess as to where it is.
Well, I pretty much assume that's where he's going. Nope, Sir Lancelot is. Looks like he's going to get jebaited, just like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna was, by you know, hoping he's in go mode, but that's going to be a negatory there, Ace.
Yeah, that's the problem. With 2 medallions, you would normally assume that you are in go mode. I'm thinking that it's either that's required for Turtle Rock. But as we've seen already, it's not the case.
And I believe at least 2 of our runners at this point have gotten that memo of, uh-oh.
Huh? What's up? Oh, looks like Super Bunny Cave had had another mail upgrade for our runners. Yeah, this is gonna be quite unfortunate for Sir Lancelot. Funny as yeah, that's Bombos. He's gonna have to find that Bombos eventually. We know it's not in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, unfortunately, Sir Lancelot's going to start the wild goose chase, and this might put him into Ice Palace, finishing everything off in the Hookshot Cave. That's a save and quit, so it'll be interesting to see. Actually opts to stay up in Death Mountain, which
I believe he's going to be doing that just to get health and then loot out. Yeah. Oh wait, no, there wasn't anything that. Oh okay, I was mistaken about the downstairs in Pod, but I know there was a sword in Pod. I wasn't sure exactly where it was.
It's in the room with the 4 dinosaurs in it.
Oh,
with the chest right in the middle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, now it looks like Sir Lancelot is.
He's up to the ground half magic. Yeah, he's grabs half magic.
Going back into Desert Palace, so potentially looking for items. I would presume he's going to then do the checkerboard cave. This is gonna get a little rough for Sir Lancelot, as this is not going to reward him with anything.
Yeah, this palace is pretty much a dud.
So at this point, unless there's some really weird out-of-the-way location that I'm not thinking of, is this an ice palace or pedestal, Bombos?
I would assume Ice Palace, because that's the most logical thing I can think of at the moment. That isn't just something crazy as like Aga, going to Aga, grabbing the mushroom, and then turning to the witch.
Oh right, the witch's hut. I forgot about that.
Yeah, although I don't believe any of the runners would go out of their way to go fight Aga 1 just to grab a mushroom and hope to find the Bombos medallion on the witch's hut.
That would be almost as savage as the pedestal at this point.
Yeah, the only thing that could be logical is checking the pedestal, either blind like Sir Lancelot is doing in the moment, or just going towards Ice Palace. Idiom now on the Helmastar King fight as Calvin enters Ice Palace.
So this will be interesting to see if Calvin clears Ice Palace. Somebody was.
I almost forgot too. It's also on the 5-6 crystals. Although I actually wouldn't believe it's. I don't think it would be the case, honestly, because it's a 5-6 and it's turtle box required. But that's another unique item that's there, but I don't think anyone's grabbing that at this point.
Well, we can kind of narrow down what would potentially be behind the 5-6 crystal. Because it's Turtle Rock, it can't be Bombos. And that's, I think, the final item we need for Go mode, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. Bombos is... all we need is Bombos, and we're in Go mode. The only thing that could be possible on that location is either something ridiculous like, I don't know, the blue boomerang, the cave, the shovel, or the bucket. Or no, you have the boomerang. So yeah, you've seen the boomerang before. My bad. And the only thing I can think of is cape and the cape, shovel, and bucket. And maybe, or possibly a shield. We've seen a shield already, and that was on Desert Palace.
But basically, it boils down to nothing of actual value to the runners would be on the Pyramid Ferry, just by what we know. Unfortunately for the runners, I can fairly safely assume they don't know, as Sir Linkalot is doing the blacksmith chain, and this is not going to get very far. Gets a book out of it.
He has the Book of Medora. What he might be doing now, what he could possibly do, is check the pedestal. After he gets, I don't believe he saw the hints regarding the purple chest being a piece of heart. Either that or he forgot.
Well,
I made a mistake
like...
on my part saying I thought the shield was unique. It's not, so my apologies there. Anyway.
Well, Sir Linkalot is just, you know, in for it a little bit here, unfortunately, as he's going to finish his duties as an Uber Eats driver. The problem is the reward...
a piece of heart, because like I said, I don't believe he got the hint, or he may have forgot that was on the purple chest, the piece of heart.
I think at this point I'm rather interested in Calvin's screen, because if we find the Bombos along the way, it almost might give Calvin kind of like a meta advantage as being the only one able to enter Turtle Rock.
Oh, unique item requires 3 pendants. Oh no.
Oh yes. Oh yes, please.
That could have been, that might be Bombos. That could be Bombos. If Turtle Rock, no, not Turtle Rock, if Ice Palace does not have anything in value, then we have to pull the pad in order to get Go mode. Meaning Bombos is on the pedestal.
Well, Calvin just skipped the chest, so I think our items in Ice Palace might be accounted for already.
Yeah, that's the thing. Although,
and
to be fair,
Linkalot is now in Ice Palace.
Yeah, this is a unique item after all. It could be anything. It could be other things that we saw. There is a shield in Ice Palace. That could have been in the the cave, the cave, the shovel, the bog net, anything. It could also be that Bombos medallion. We'll have to see as we as Calvin goes forward. Idiom takes out the Armos Knights, grabs his Quake. I believe he might be also. I don't know if he could also be baited to. Or no, wait. I think he saw the tablet, the Turtle Rock before. I might be mistaken though.
Well, one of the runners saw it, and I believe it was Edium who saw it early on.
So for Edium, this is nice for him to see, because that opens up Mystery Mire for him. Mr. Scruff's gonna grab that book from the blacksmiths.
Well, it looks like Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna is doing most everything that Sir Linkalot and our other runners have done in trying to figure out where that Bombos is.
No, but the good thing about that is we know we narrow it down to some possible locations. As, of course, with Ice Palace being the big player right now, as Calvin and Sir Linkalot now are in there right now. We know Bumper Cave is nothing, as Mr. Scruff's going to find out 10 arrows.
Now, what would be absolutely savage is if we deduce, something like the bug net or the cape is the pod item, and then we have to do the agonim after the fact to turn in the mushroom.
Yeah, I don't see that happening in my eyes, but I don't know. At the moment, Calvin is he's going through Ice Palace, and trying to get closer towards that Coldstare fight. Of course, this also too, Tarantula is in play too, if they decide to clear it. And Edium, heading towards Skull Woods. After he clears Mothula, I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to mirror and check the pet. This would confirm to us that whatever the unique item is on the 3 pendants, requiring the 3 pendants, could actually be. Whoa. And if it is Bombos, then oh boy, pedestal is required for go mode.
Well, we know where the silver arrows are, because Edium has them. The mushroom, we know where that is. It's Bombos, Shovel, Bugnet, and Cape, I believe, are the only possibilities for what could be on the pedestal right now.
Yeah, that's the case. Calvin, not sure what he's trying to do. He's not going towards gonna fight Coldstare yet. Edium clears out Mothula, grabs Crystal, and again, wouldn't be surprised besides a mirror and check the pad right. And so is Mr. Scruff too. They're gonna probably be checking it twice.
Oh, here we go. Edium is gonna either make my day or ruin it in about 10 seconds here.
Burn, baby, burn. Burn the finger of my fire. That is Bombos required for go mode.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So, we now have to clear all the dungeons in order to grab Bombos required for go mode. And it's ironic because earlier today we had a pedestal open seat, and now we're going to see the pedestal again tonight here on Speed Gaming.
This just made my day.
Oh my word. It kind of reminds me of that clip that from the League that Go mode was required for, like, Go mode was required to be on the pad. Oh boy.
Well, Sir Linkalot is consolidating his lead at this point, finishing Ice Palace.
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain he's not aware of the location of the bombos, but
I would assume that he might be just going to be blind checking Ped, if I'm honest. Although at the moment he's heading towards the pod, or no, yeah, he's going to check Shirashla, going to clear that, get that out of the way. We know that's not the case.
Well,
because
it's
right now we're in no mode.
You know, junk or junk, and you know, heart number 17 is pretty much junk at that point.
Yeah, that's the problem. And yeah, it looks like he's deciding he's gonna go for a blind Ped check right now. Because at the moment, because Edium right now has not cleared Ice Palace. He's got to clear Moldorm and Cold Stare if he wants to grab that that Bombos medallion off the pedestal.
Well, I think Sir Lancelot is headed into Palace.
Yeah, again. He's heading for Swamp Palace. He really believes that that it's on the medallion, it's on the pedestal, and he's not wrong. He saw that hint.
So Sir Lancelot knows there's a unique item on the pedestal. He will be rewarded with the bombos in short order. So he's going to go Swamp Palace, pull the pedestal, and then finally be able to get into Turtle Rock. And being Turtle Rock's going to be his last dungeon, Ganon's Tower is right there. You know,
yeah,
just right next
right
door.
There. It's a little bit of a walk. It's not like, you know, it's Hera where it's like right there. But it's still close by.
Well, you can't pick a closer finishing dungeon aside from Tower of Hera.
Yeah. Edium into Ice Palace. It's now pretty much a race to grab the Bombos medallion between Sir Lancelot and Ed.
So we have Mr. Scruff finishing off Cold Stare. So that'll give him Ice Palace, that pendant. But that might lead him astray a little bit here, as that might put him back over to hand that in to Sahasrara.
Yeah, although I wouldn't be surprised if he also goes towards Tower of Hera after going to Shirashla. And although, to be fair, Mr. Scruff did read the pedestal too, so he knows that he has to go to Hera now. It's a race between Mr. Scruff, Sir Lancelot, and Edium for that Bombos medallion.
Well, I think, you know, technically speaking, it's a race between everybody. I think Calvin just, you know, definitely behind the other runners, but I think at some point Calvin will also be able to deduce just what's going on with this seed.
Yeah, that's the thing. Calvin, he probably knows at this point, and I wouldn't be surprised if he knows at this point that that's where it is. That's where the Bombos is. Quite a crazy seed for this particular race. And Mr. Scruff, over in the Tower of Hera area, is going to be entering that right now. And for him, it's just a straight-up race to grab grab the key. That's what he did. Go up by Moldorm, and in my eyes, although to be fair, Edium is on the Cold Stare fight now. Yeah, it looks like Edium is going to be the first of our runners to enter Goma pretty shortly.
Well, the problem for Edium is he's also going to have to go to Misery Mire, which is going to slow him down.
Yeah.
This will be the final dungeon for Sir Link-a-Lot, and also Mr. Scruff, Tower of Hera, is the final dungeon before being able to pop the pedestal to gain access to Turtle Rock.
Exactly. That's the one thing that's Edium's going to be have to consider when he starts pulling that ped. Sir Link-a-Lot, over almost at the Argus fight. Mr. Scruff almost towards Tower of Hera now. Calvin enters Ice Palace again. I believe he ran out of magic on the way on.
Well, here's our first runner about to be in go mode.
Yeah, he's pulling the ped right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, at 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 59 seconds, Edium has entered go mode.
Now, unfortunately for Edium, like we just said, he's going to have to go through Misery Mire, although in go mode. Sir Link-a-Lot has found his last pendant, so this is now a race between Mr. Scruff, Sir Link-a-Lot, and Edium. But Edium has the disadvantage right now of having to deal with Misery Mire. Sir Link-a-Lot and Mr. Scruff are going to be seconds apart from each other. Well, Sir Link-a-Lot's going somewhere.
He's going for the bats.
For the
That's going to put... It looks like Mr. Scruff is going to put... This is going to put Mr. Scruff in the lead, practically. Only by about a few seconds, though.
I'm not sure why Sir Link-a-Lot is turning in the powder here, but this is, you know, kind of a little bit of a pit stop here, is now Mr. Scruff has basically inherited the lead.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sir Link-a-Lot has wasted a bit of time going for that magic powder check. Yeah, I can pretty much say Mr. Scruff has not a huge lead, so to say, but a lead nonetheless.
Well, we can quantify it by, you know, seeing when either of those two runners open up the entrance into Turtle Rock. Mr. Scruff is probably about a minute and a half ahead at this point. But, you know, we will be able to quantify, you know, the lead just by going, okay, Mr. Scruff opened up Turtle Rock at whatever time it ends up being. Let's say, for example, 1:35. Sir Link-a-Lot, now having Bombos, has to make his way up Death Mountain.
Yeah, because Sir Link-a-Lot had pulled the pad now. That puts him in go mode.
Oh, and he also just got deadrocked, unfortunately.
Oh, that's going to offset Mr. Scruff's lead, too, by about a couple seconds.
You know, we're looking at basically 1:34 for Mr. Scruff getting into Turtle Rock a couple seconds later. So 1:34 in 10 seconds.
Yeah, Mr. Scruff enters Turtle Rock.
Now, Calvin is making his way through the Cold Stare fight, popping what looked to be either a blue or a red potion. to keep him in the fight. Edium is working his way through Misery Mire. And
looked like it was a blue potion for Calvin. Sir Linkla approaching Turtle Rock. And there's the gold sword for Mr. Scruff Minta Tuna in Turtle Rock.
And we see Sir Lancelot's going to be about a minute and a half behind now, compared to being a couple seconds in the lead with this, detour off to check the powder.
Yeah, because the thing is, he never read the pad, too. He had the book out, and with the medallions, I mean, he had a suspicion that that was the case due to the hints being a unique item requiring all 3 medallions.
So now
according to our chat, it looks like he's a minute and 40 behind Sir Link-a-Lot. That's very considerable, given the fact that he had to make a check over to the powder just to denote that, and then pull the pad.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sir Link-a-Lot, as he was in the lead between our runners. This is going to have to come down to some level of execution to make up this lead for Sir Link-a-Lot, as he is, at least on entry, over a minute and a half behind.
Yeah, Mr. Scrub picked up the vanilla big key in the big key chest. Sir Link-a-Lot also picked up the gold sword. Edium almost getting dead rocked over by that rock, and now he's gonna open up Turtle Rock as well.
So Edium,
go ahead.
Let's see, what about 3 minutes behind?
Yeah, I want to say that Calvin in Swamp Palace, he pretty much has I believe he has a clue as to what's going on right now, or that might be his first run through Swamp Palace. Oh no, yeah, he picked up the Titans Mints, I believe.
Yeah, I think Calvin got the message though, and it looks like he'll be finishing this off to pull the pedestal. Edium is roughly 335 behind Scruff.
Yeah, although one of our chat members saying that it might be 2.5 minutes behind.
Oh, he's about 2.5 behind Sir Link-a-Lot, and another minute or so, because it was 134.10 that Mr. Scruff went in, and it was 137.45 for Edium. And 37 minus 34 is 3. 45 minus 10 is 35, so a little over 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, so Mr. Scruff, pulling out the Cane of Burnout, going to reset himself outside to make sure he gets, if in case he dies on this laser bridge, he will have a safety being that door as he goes through laser bridge.
Ooh, overshot. Yeah, he's just gonna use the cape at this point.
But that's the key. There's the key for Mr. Scruff. The first chest of laser bridge. He does not care about what else is on there. Gonna pop that blue potion, and he's in about a couple of seconds. He's fighting Trinex. So
this will be another interesting gateway to see where we are with the runners in the Trinex fight, to see if they gained or lost any time.
But there's the Trinex. There's Trinex starting the fight now. Sir Lancelot is hot on his tail.
Ooh, we have a litter bug on Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna's side. I don't think it'll affect the fight very much, but having that little icy patch is never a fun time for dealing with Trinex.
No, that's not a big problem, as only takes 3 slices of the gold sword to take out Trinex. And now, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to play a game.
Oh, I guess we could play a game, sure.
Alright, this is a game I like to call the Big Key Guessing Game. Inside Ganon's Tower, the first half of Ganon's Tower, there are 22 chests. From 1 to 22, put your guesses in chat where you think the Big Key might.
Well, there's 22 locations. You can't forget the torch.
Oh yeah, 22. That's what I said. 22 locations.
You said 22
I said chest, but yeah, you know what I meant.
The devil's in the details.
Plus the torch. Okay. Alright, let's get that established out of the way right now. As Mr. Scruff is opening up Ganon's Tower, and the game is going to be closed. We do not have the bot, because this is not a tournament, it's just a regular old daily race.
So,
and
141.45 for Mr. Scruff taking his first step in Ganon Tower. I am going to say number 5, as I always do. And the winner is number 1.
Oh my, that is 1. That is a huge one. Wow. And looks like Mr. Scruff is gonna just go grab I'm not sure what he's doing here. But he already has the big key. Yeah, he's grabbing the key, and this is huge for Mr. Scruff.
Yeah, this is gonna put him into a very good spot here, as I don't see what's gonna stop him at this point from being the first of our restreamed runners to finish this up.
Yeah, there have been some finishes. We will be covering them after Mr. Scruff has finished his race. It looks like Star Wars 999 being the first one of the to be guessing that check correctly. Good job on you. We'll have your winnings in about 10. Anyway.
Yeah, it looks like Sir Lancelot picking up a key as well. And now the ascent up Ganon's Tower begins. For Sir Lancelot, just a little bit behind Mr. Scruff, probably still about a minute and a half. But any kind of execution error at this point could make or break the run, as Edium is taking on Trinex. And Calvin is saving and quitting and heading off to
turn towards Tower of Hera.
Yeah, he will be taking Tower of Hera. For those of you that came up late, the Bombos medallion needed for Turtle Rock was our pedestal item.
And it's ironic too, because earlier today we had a pedestal open siege for the 2 o'clock daily race, and we got a bit of double pedestal action today. Oh,
Mr. Scruff gonna take a bit of a fall here.
Yeah, he's
Gonna have to
resetting the
reset the
room so that
room.
he can take care of those wizards.
Yeah, the Wizrobes, gonna get rid of
Wizrobes, yeah.
those. So, Edium is gonna make his way into the tower. Looks like he is about 4 minutes behind at this point. Maybe still 3.5 from Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna. And it looks like Sir Linkalot is getting a bit of lag on this Landmolus fight, but still able to finish it off. Oh, it looks like Edium is going left side.
This is gonna put him way behind overall.
Yeah, we know the key was on the right side, and Edium is on the left side.
Mr. Scruff entering the Moldorm 2 fight with Sir Linkalot right behind him. Calvin enters the Moldorm 1 fight, and there's a shovel on Moldorm's chest.
Interesting place for that shovel. Not much good you can put it to at this point.
I mean, with Bombos on the pedestal, something like that is just like confirmation that yeah, this is one of those days. As Mr. Scruff enters the Aga 2 fight.
Yeah, it looks like he scored a 2 on his first part of the geometry test here.
Yeah, he also scored another double. And keeping up with what you said about being channeled in their NBA, and that was a triple double for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna.
Yeah, well done with that. We're off to the Ganon fight for Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, as Sir Linkalot is about a room away from starting his geometry quiz. And it looks like Edium's going to pick up his key. And sort of surprised it wasn't an insta-mirror back out, but here we go, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, our first into the Ganon fight.
Yeah, but Sir Linkalot is right behind him. He is also on the Aga 2 fight.
And it looks like a triple-double there for Sir Linkalot as well. So this will be a pretty close fight.
Yeah, this is... oh boy.
We've got Mr. Scruff. It looks like Ganon is into phase 2.
Oh, Calvin was not happy to see the Bombos on the pedestal as he has undergone.
Yeah, unfortunately for Calvin, he's got a little bit of exploration still. I don't believe he has the flute or the book.
He does not. He never went up to Zora. That's gonna cost him more time.
So Calvin's probably gonna go into Turtle Rock until he activates the flute, though, which is gonna require him going into Zora.
Oh, Mr. Scruff puts a double into Ganon.
Yeah, just so close to landing a triple there, but that'll do it. Mr. Scruff gonna be the first of our restreamed runners. It looks like not even in the top 10, however, of the overall.
Yeah, Mr. Scruff has finished in 11th place with an official SRL time of 1:49.46, and he has also got himself a PB by improving his time by 8 minutes and 1 second. Congratulations to Mr. Scruff. And Sir Linkla is right behind him.
Yeah, so I'm going to run off a couple of our finishers. P-Train 24, first place, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 33 seconds. It looks like Wayne, our second place finisher, 1 hour, 39 minutes, 24 seconds. Plasma Kappa right behind, 1 hour, 39, 48 seconds. Ravis 10, fourth place, 1 hour, 40 minutes, 19 seconds. Shire, our fifth place finisher, 1 hour, 42, 18 seconds. D-Demolisher 1, 142.23, just 5 seconds behind. Korek, our 7th place finisher, 142.54, just about 30 seconds behind our 6th place. Matt, 78.98, 144.03. Apathy Duck, our 9th place finisher, 147.40. Fear Agent, our 10th place finisher, 149.32. And as we saw, Sir Linkalot and Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who I believe have both joined us in chat now, are 11th and 12th place finishers,
both
respectively.
Mr. Scruff, we both, Mr. Scruff and Sir Linkalot in the booth. GG to both of you.
GG's.
GG.
Oh boy, this was a wild seed for sure, with the Bombos on the pedestal, and oh man. What was your thoughts going when you saw that the hint, either the hint or the fact that the medallion was on the pet?
Wait, there was a hint?
There was a hint. It was an ice palace.
Oh, thank God I didn't actually go there. I'm glad that I decided to goof, because people noticed that I intentionally wanted to go to Skull Woods immediately, and then I realized I didn't have a sword, so I couldn't kill Mopula. I was like, yeah, I'll just do other stuff. Found my sword in Graveyard Ledge and said, hey, maybe I should go back. It's like, nah, I'll do it later. Glad I did.
Yeah, that was what helped you in the end there. As for Sir Linkalot, what was your thoughts about the pedestal having the Bombos medallion?
I kind of was expecting it because I got the hint, so it's like even without reading it, I was like looking like, okay, I know where Mushroom is. I know I got a hint earlier that there was a unique item with a Great Fairy, so I'm like, okay, that takes 2 items. So I'm like, it's a 25% chance that it's sitting there at this point. And then I got the Burna in off Argus. So I was like, okay, it's a 33% chance, which is, hey, the chance it could have been Turtle Rock when I went up there, so why not? And then I read it anyways. I was just gonna blind pull and I accidentally read it, so sorry, chat.
Hey, it still gave us a little bit of a hint as to where that was to begin with. Curious as to why you went over to the magic powder area first, then the pet.
Just because it was right there, and it was a little bit quicker to check that than go to the pedestal, so for the small chance that it's not there, I save a little bit of time, but...
That was my idea too, even though it was just, one item there. I was like, you know what, I'd rather have it be on hammer pegs than be on pedestal. Fortunately, I was wrong. But
I think, at the whole scope of things, how many of the dungeons did you guys end up double dipping because of how the seed just kind of played itself out?
I think I did 2. I know I did Swamp and Desert. I think those are the only dungeons I double dipped on.
I did 2 as well, but I did Eastern and Desert. I was hoping that because of random routing luck, I'd go ahead and find something really, really good in Eastern Palace. I didn't. but at least it kind of led me to some better areas.
I should also give an update. Edium has finished in 16th place with an official Estro time of 1:54.44. GG to him.
Oh, but man, this race, I always hope for a ped seed whenever I'm watching, tracking, or commentating. But with my luck, of course, I have to get the ped seed when I run it.
Yeah, I was hoping for, the Aga seed, and my dreams were a little bit dashed with the mushroom, and I'm going, wait, this could be absolutely, a savage little number with the ped hint, and then it ends up being like the bug net, which I think was the only other item that was not accounted for, but with the hints, that was in the Pyramid Fairy.
Sorry to interrupt you, but when you mentioned the Pyramid Fairy, I was so happy to see both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock as the 5/6 crystals for this one, mainly because it thought, okay, there's gonna be absolutely jack on Fat Fairy there, because nothing is gonna be necessary there.
And we are joined by Edium. GG.
Hey, GG's.
So we were discussing about the fact that the pedestal was required for Goma, with the bombos being on there. What were your thoughts about that entirely?
It didn't really surprise me too much. I felt like ice was the play, and I went in there, and then I got the powder, and I had to leave because Fear Agent made me say that if I get the powder, I have to go check it immediately.
Yeah, I heard about that. I think prior to this.
So that kind of was annoying because I wanted to keep going in ice, but it was like, no, I have to leave now. And I didn't get back there for a while.
Okay, that explains that particular play. I wanted to ask you about that.
No, I definitely would have
know that agreement was in place.
Yeah, it was just something silly, and it definitely cost me quite a bit of time. But
yeah, I was alluding to that earlier.
Yeah, Idiom. This is probably why I won the race on the restream then, because I go-moded Ice Palace. I didn't pick up the powder.
Yeah, I mean, I went in, got the powder, and then by the time I got back to ice, I knew I had already checked the pad, so I was basically in go mode. But yeah, I felt like I read it kind of weird for the first bit and didn't seem to be working. So as soon as then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna dip Pendant Swamp, and then the mitts came up, and I felt good about that, and tried to follow the mitts. Got the book. Tried to follow the book. The book went nowhere. So then I was a little bit confused, but I should have maybe been thinking about ice more. But oh well. It was a fun seed overall.
It was hilariously fun, and I gotta tell you, as soon as I checked Lumberjack, I decided to forego it. The first part of the run, I was checking Lumberjack right at the end, and I saw the mushroom, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, there was, I mean, for me, there was no way that mushroom was ever going to be collected until it was my absolute last location.
That's why I have to kind of laugh, because I go-moded Ice Palace, I never got the hint in there. I decided to just check on Ped, since I had the book and I just finished Mothula. I saw that it was the Ring of Fire. Funny enough, I've never actually seen that hint before, so I had to stop and think, okay, is this Bombos? Not 100% sure.
Yeah, sometimes the hints are a little bit cryptic at times.
The only other thing that could have fire to it is the fire rod, and I think Uncle gave that to you.
That's why I was safe with the assumption that this is Bombos. I was kind of frightened. I'm like, no.
But
anyway, Calvin has taken out the first part of Trinax.
Yeah, unfortunately for Calvin, he's not yet gone to Zora or found the book. So he's going to have to do a little bit more work before being able to get into Desert Palace or Misery Mire.
Yeah. Not to mention he does not have the flute either.
I was so glad to see that on Zora. So happy.
I got bailed out so bad. I went to Catfish with 300 rupees. And I was just like, I'm gonna isolate Zora. This is terrible. I don't know why I'm doing this. And then Catfish drops 300 rupees. I'm like, thank you, Catfish. I've never been so happy to see rupees in my life.
Oh, the seed I did last week, the commentary for it had a similar situation where the waterfall cave had a 300 drop. So those that went up into Zora's domain to check the waterfall cave were rewarded with the 300 rupees that were just about the difference between being able and not being able to check Zora.
Yeah, it's always funny when that happens. I'm one of those people that's like, I try to farm up money for Zora, or if I'm just too far away, then I will put off the whole Zora area to like later. I don't like to isolate locations like that.
I gotta ask, was I the first one to get to Swamp?
Out of the restreamed runners?
Yeah, out of the four of us.
Ooh. Let's see.
I know it wasn't me. I like last location Swamp almost.
I went to
Routing was
Swamp.
good, but I skipped Swamp.
I went to Swamp pretty early. I don't think I even had any crystals before I went to Swamp.
Yeah, I think one of you was in Swamp Palace super early. But I think Edium, out of all of the restreamed runners, was first into Swamp Palace originally because you were the first to have the silver arrows.
Yeah, chat's saying that Idiom was first.
Yeah, I can actually see it. Like, I know the winner got about 130 or 131, which is really impressive for a ped seed.
Oh yeah.
But I can kind of see like I went to Swamp early because I had everything to full clear it really early, so it just kind of felt like the play. And then I got Mitts in Swamp, and I tried to follow those, but I did the Smith chain, and then I was thinking about Ice, and obviously that I had to leave Ice because of that silly little agreement, and then I just didn't go back. But if I'd gone back, I definitely would have done so much better on this.
Yeah, looking back at the restream right now, we see Calvin looking around flute, and unfortunately, the flute is at Zora. Calvin checking, looked like the graveyard ledge. Now in the Dark World, it looks like he's on the right track. Hopefully, gonna check the catfish, and then mirror over in his domain, which will hopefully give him the flute he needs to get into Desert Palace and Misery Mire.
Yep, he's going for that catfish check, and I hope, yeah, this is, hopefully, yeah, as you mentioned, he'll probably mirror to grab those, to get those flutes.
Now,
yeah, he's doing it.
yeah, here we go. So Calvin's on the right path. Did anybody else do the Houlihan room aside from Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna?
I did not.
I did. I thought about it.
I thought about it on my way to Zora. I'm like, that would have been a good play. But, oh well, too late.
Well, you got the catfish bailout plan, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yep, Calvin is going to be acquiring those that flute, and about for as go mode for him at oh, he's not happy. He is not happy at all. Now,
Calvin's not been happy for a while. He was rage slashing Trinex. So
yeah, and he also rage slashed at the bombos at the pad.
So yeah, Calvin's been going at it for a while with the rage slashes. Hopefully, this
Oh, he
is.
doesn't even have the book, so he hasn't even been. He doesn't even know it's a ped seed. Oh no, wait, he has bombos.
Yeah, he already
got the
told
hints.
Head. See, yeah, he got the hint in the Ice Palace. So, is there anything you guys want to say that we maybe missed, or just in general you just want to have a go at?
No, just want to thank you guys for the commentary and thank the trackers for tracking.
Yeah, thanks for commentating. Thanks for tracking.
Thank you very much.
The boots.
And if fear ever makes you a deal to be on the restream, you might not want to take it.
Yeah, that was a thing. So
Or just get super lucky like I did.
All right.
So Plando confirmed. Conspiracy theories abound here. Is that what happened, Edium?
No, I'm just joking, but it's just funny.
Calvin opening up Misery Mire, as we do have another finish SSBM or SSB Moro, I want to say, has finished in 18th place with a time of 2:06:39, improving their personal best by 13 minutes and 33 seconds. Congratulations to him.
Thanks for commentating this awesome race, guys. Have a good one.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm gonna step out as well. GG's, everyone.
Yeah, have a good night, guys. Well done finishing this monstrosity.
That's the best way we can describe it.
Yep, I'll be heading out as well. Thanks for commentating.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely. All right, so Calvin, the last of our restreamed runners, into Misery Mire. So with this fundamentally being in go mode, hopefully this will just be a run straight to, believe Vitreous is the boss here?
Yeah, Vitreous, and then he still has to take care of Desert Palace.
Oh, that Land Molus fight will be fairly quick. I believe he can mirror right to the back of Desert and skip the whole front side of it. So that should not take very long. It's just a matter of getting through these two remaining dungeons for Calvin.
He's got that big key to Misery Mire. Now he's gonna make his way over to the Vitreous.
Yeah, that was the only thing stopping him from heading over to Vitreous. Just needing the big key to be able to open the door along the way to get into that fight. Oh, getting bounced around a little bit here, but gonna take the magic refill. And with the lantern in tow, this is fairly easy to navigate dark rooms, being you can see where you're going. Oh, and it looks like we're gonna, yeah, there we go. Powder that fairy. The anti-fairy.
And I'm taking a little bit of a backseat as to for this race because yeah, it's pretty much about to wrap up pretty soon as Calvin's approaching the Vitreous fight.
Yeah, having the silver arrows, this fight will go quickly.
Yeah, it makes this fight really trivial.
I'm not sure if Calvin knew he could try to snipe at Vitreous there while the small eyeballs are still around. But I guess standing in there and trying to dodge the lightning blast is not a wise idea.
Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Oh, you can't hit Vitreous when he pops up out of the goop?
But Calvin, oh yeah, oh boy.
Yeah, he's got to move back a little bit before using the mirror.
Yeah, that's why there's a back entrance to Desert Palace, in which she is going to be entering now.
I thought you could go right to the little blocked off area in the far back.
And looks like Calvin's going to be grabbing the mirror shield off of the torch.
Oh, at this point, no, why not? I mean,
They
it's
have nothing
there.
to lose. He grabs the big key, he mirrors out.
Yeah, there we go. Now he's going to head off to the very back.
Now, what I hope that Calvin will do is head towards the right side, into the Hope Room, and then grab the big key.
Oh, Calvin has the big key already. Or is there a second big key?
That's the Gannon's Tower one I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's in Desert Palace right now. I'm talking about, you know, like when he clears Desert Palace right now, in about a couple of seconds.
Yeah, it just wait. Brain malfunction. I'm like 3/4 of the way in bed at this point. I'm just almost to the point where I'm ready to take the headset off and go, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Time to tap out.
It can feel like that as now Calvin enters the Lamos Bidens, and blink and you miss it. Lamos is gone with those silver arrows.
And that looked more like whack-a-mole. Right when they popped their head up, just whack them with a silver arrow and they're done for.
Yeah, so now he has access to Gannon's Tower. Again, I hope that he goes to the right and grab that key.
So here we go with Calvin making his way up Death Mountain, hopefully for the final time. So now it's just a matter of heading over to Turtle Rock to activate the portal to get into the Dark World, and then running back over across the bridge in the Dark World to open up Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, and then if he goes right, then we will be able to we'll be able to close out the seed once and for all. Quite a wild ride this run is.
Well, a pedestal seed's always going to be what's the best way to quantify it?
Exhausting.
A train wreck?
I mean, it's a train wreck of science, but anyway. But without our talented runners and crew, we wouldn't be able to perform this little stream for you guys. So be sure to follow the runners and both Eddie Mr. Scruff, Ninja Tuna, Sterling Glut, and Calvin 919. And yeah, he is heading towards Rock. We'll be grabbing that big key.
Now the problem is he's going to also have to go to the left side, I believe. He'll need at least one key, but it looks like he's going to go for it.
That's kind of curious for me, but yeah.
Well, this might be a rookie mistake, as it were. Although he may be able to find a key along the way.
I believe the only thing he can actually, the only key that he can grab at the moment, right now, but that once he gets that big key that early, is that pot, the key with the pot inside it.
So it would just be unfortunate to see him get denied by a key door, because all of the other runners stayed in the, I guess for lack of a better term, it's they stayed in the bottom area, made sure they got one key, and then mirrored out to start the ascent up Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, that's what they've done. So, after Calvin has finished, there is a couple of things that, if you're still itching for any speed gaming stuff, we do have the Super Metroid Prodigy tournament going on right now, and we also currently the Super Metroid and Link to the Past combo randomizer weekly race is going on too, or maybe daily race. I'm not sure. I believe it's a weekly race though. That's going on. You can catch the Super Metroid Prodigy tournament over on Speed Gaming 1, just regular old Speed Gaming, and you can catch the Super Metroid Link to the Past randomizer daily race / weekly race. I'm not sure still over on Speed Gaming 4.
Yeah, that combo randomizer is only listed as a community race. It doesn't say if it's a daily or a weekly. But with how long that generally takes, Might end
Yeah.
up being a weekly no matter what.
Yeah, but so if you're itching for any for more randomizer or speed gaming stuff, check out those streams.
Yeah, unfortunately, with it being pretty close to the end of the night, it's about Super Metroid Prodigy Tournament started up roughly 20 minutes or so ago. That combo randomizer is probably closer to finished than it is started. I guess we could poke our head in and see what's... Yeah, that's about it. You're looking into tomorrow morning, and it looks like we've got ourselves a problem. No, gonna be able to get through the key door. Okay.
Yeah, so looking tomorrow, we do have the Overworld Glitches tournament going on. We also have the Kirby Nightmare and Dreamland 80% tournament, the Portal 2 tournament going on as well, the Zelda 2 Randomizer Weekly race. Later down in the week, too, we have the new Super Mario Bros. Wii 80% tournament that started up about not too long ago.
Oh no, Calvin hit the second key door and did not have a key. So, yeah, he's gonna have to go out, pick up a key, and then start his ascent back up. Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's unfortunate for Calvin.
So here we go with round 2, the ascent up Ganon's tower here is going to try to set up the bow shots to get rid of these. Oh, they're not the Igors. Oh, what are they? That's too late at night to remember. Oh well. But, Calvin getting a little bit more unfortunate luck on his side here in this run. Well, hopefully it will smooth out soon. He shouldn't be too far away from taking on, I believe, Lanmolus, Moldorm, Aghanim, and Ganon are bosses left in his way, and shouldn't be anything that stops him from taking them down at this point.
Yeah. We're really grateful that Calvin is sticking it out through the...
Yeah, with the high volume of rage slashes, it would not have surprised me if he forfeited, and definitely going to give him props for seeing this through.
Yeah, I should probably update on the time finishes. We had T-Money 7 finishing in 19th place with an official SRL time of 2:09:01. Risa was in 20th with 2:11:09, 2 minutes and about 8 seconds behind. Casey, I want to say 21st with a time of 2:16:56. Medium-sized head in 22nd place with a time of 2:21:02, and Tabby Cat finishing in 23rd with a time of 2:24:38 and improving their personal best by 20:34. Glorious, that's what it was. Or wait, I confused with some other guy, but my bad.
Now, what we call the mimics, that's what I couldn't remember, what their official name was.
Yeah.
Calvin actually pretty smooth through these last couple screens.
Oh.
Oh, that fall's going to be unfortunate, I think. Going to take a deliberate fall there, hopefully being able to shoot this last one. And oh, no.
Oh, denied! Oh!
Oh, right at the end.
Yeah, that fall.
Yeah, that first fall from that area right there is what did him in. That second fall there, definitely intentional. Gonna have to fire rod that bottom lantern again. But I believe there's a full magic refill if you went back down the ladder. Just not gonna have any part of it and try to see his way through to the end at this point.
And that deserves some mad respect for Calvin.
Yeah, picking up another refill. And here we are, the Moldorm fight. This hopefully should go fairly quickly. I believe it's 2 hits.
2 hits, yeah. Oh. I believe a pause, some sort of pause bumper to make him prevent him from falling off. And slashing at the shovel chest.
Yeah, definitely about, I think, how pretty much everybody feels with the shovel finally showing up as the last chest you open in the game.
Yeah.
And here we go with a little geometry test for Calvin. Oh, missing there. Got one at least. Looks like I heard 2 hits there, so we're up to 3. That's 4.
1 there. 4 hits.
Oh no, he moved away to
there.
the side. No. Oh, that was 1.
Yeah, that counts 1.
Yeah, unfortunately they were not far enough apart to jump across, and there's number 6, and down goes Agna.
Okay, Calvin, he's dead.
He's a tricky little mage, you can never be sure.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. Now, Calvin on the Ganon fight.
Looks like he's got enough hits in to get out of phase 1, and this is glorified dodgeball at this point. Oh no.
Not yet, not yet. The 4 hearts, though. He has nothing. Does not have a blue potion.
Yeah, unfortunately, I believe he used his potion previously. But we're on to phase 3 at least, so... ooh, that was really close to Hug-A-Ganon, which is not a method of dealing with phase 3. Flirting with The idea of hugging Ganon is there's let's see if we can get
That was a
it
double.
looks-
So you
Yeah,
got
the
torch
double
glitch.
and a torch glitch. Oh, and able to avoid that fireball.
Oh, wasn't lucky about the one of the attacks though, but that's 3. Needs to put 1 more, and that'll double.
Yeah, but this should do it right here.
And there goes Ganon. And Calvin has finished out this race in 24th place, so an official SRL time of 2:30:56. GG to everyone.
Yeah, that was pretty clean Ganon's tower for Calvin, aside from the little gaff with the key. Pretty good execution on all the bosses. Let's see if Calvin joins in on Discord right quick and get a little interview in before we shut it down.
Yeah, we're just about over our time at the moment.
There's nothing there to kick us off, so what are they
Yeah.
going to do? Kick us off and say, hey, we've got to put on nothing.
Yeah, we do. Of course, that Super Metroid Prodigy tournament is still going on. Of course, that's on the main Speed Gaming channel, and also the Super Metroid Link to the Past Randomizer combo on Speed Gaming 4. But
I see Calvin in the chat, so we'll see if I can't get him in here. I guess. Oh, I see. Just gonna mark him as finished. I guess. Get that real quick. See if our little oh, I did an intruder alarm.
Whoa, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So, thanks for everybody for waiting for me.
Oh, that's all right. I've definitely had longer seeds. I think it was about 2 weeks ago we went over 3 hours, so don't feel bad that it took a little over 2 hours. I can only assume this is probably one of the first times you've been on the restream.
It's actually my first time.
Ah, okay.
I think the seed just made me go all over the place.
That when you get a pedestal item, that's definitely something that's going to happen.
I'm like, we got the hint in Ice Palace, I think, and I'm just like, man, I don't know if this I'm still fairly new. Unique item, it says requires 3 pendants, so I'm like, I hope this isn't the bug net or something, because I'm just gonna do it.
Well, it could have been. I think the bug net and the cape were unaccounted for. The mushroom we knew was in the lumberjack cave.
Yeah.
That could have led to the witch's hut having one of those two items. I didn't look at the ending sequence to see. But
I mean, when I saw the mushroom on the lumberjack, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. I'm already in for one. I can already tell, and it was crazy. Thanks, Fear, for rolling that seed. I think. But no, it was fun. I'm definitely gonna watch this one back and figure it out. What I did wrong. I think one of the big things for me was just not having enough money for Zora for like the longest time.
Yeah.
And then finally got the flute. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, this, for me, the seed just felt like money dry for like the longest time.
do you know how to do the Houlihan room?
Oh, I do not know how to do that. I'm still learning that.
Okay. Then this will be a good seed to watch back, because Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, who will be in the top right, goes into the Houlihan room about 15 minutes in.
Okay.
And that gets you, let's see, I think, it's 9, 18, 20, 45 by 5 rupees, which is...
Your Zora money.
It's 200 plus rupees. And it is very helpful, especially when you get a 300 rupee drop fairly early. And then you just go, all right, I've got Zora money, so I might happen to, head up there pretty quickly. And our tracker Sindora is saying it's 225 rupees in that Houlihan room.
Okay. Yeah, that would definitely have helped if I knew how to do that trick.
One of the other runners just happened to go up there. He's like, oh, I'm going to check the catfish, and got bailed out because he had roughly 300 rupees, and then the catfish gives 300 more.
Yeah, when I went to catfish, I mirrored that, all together, because I'm like, well, I need the flute or the book. Well, no, I need the flute because I need to do Misery Myers. So, no, I needed the flute to do that, yeah. And when he popped out 300 rupees, I'm like, well, I should have done this a long time ago because there's my Zora money now.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just kind of realize, mistakes were made.
Plenty here. And what else? Let's see. My fight in Skullwoods, I have a hard time with Mafula when I'm at like bare minimum, which is why I like opted to like just jet out of that and just come back later when I get like Master Sword or Male Upgrade or something. So
yeah, I saw you in that fight, and it seemed to give you a little bit of difficulty early on. Do you think that might be something you try to improve going forward?
Oh, absolutely. I've been trying been trying really hard to try to make that a little bit better, but I just gotta keep practicing. That's really all there is to it. Practice with like, I think, bare minimum. Like having like maybe Fighter Sword and Green Mail and just try to, do it. Maybe like throw a Fire Rod in there, try to get it consistent, and then it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I do know you don't want to have Mothula on the edges. If he hits any of the spikes, he'll bounce around, and it basically won't count as a hit. I'm not sure if you were aware of that.
I am not. Like, I find sometimes I'm just like, dude, I know I'm hitting this dude, and he is not dying, but then in some fights I like hit him with like 1 or 2 swings and a couple of Fire Rod shots and he's dead, and I'm just like, well, why can't it go like this all the time? But that makes a lot of sense.
Well, hopefully, you a little something, and you go from there.
Yeah, that's the best you can do.
Yeah. Well, hopefully y'all drop some tips for me. I'll listen to them. I'll take all the constructive criticism, and I'll try to get better. Hopefully next time, we won't have a 230 pedestal seed and running all over the place. Maybe we'll do a little bit better next time.
Yeah. Take care, man.
All right, y'all take care.
Well done in finishing the seed, nonetheless, Calvin. Good luck going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
No problem. That's for now.
All right, well, I'm going to say one last thing before we shut it down here. Thank you to Sindoris and Walther 4, I believe, were our trackers, the unsung heroes of this particular seed. Professor Renderer and I were commentators, and unless you have anything else to say, Professor, I am going to say have a good night, everybody.
I don't have anything else to say either, so take care, everybody.